Well, we've had the cubes. It's time for the dark side of things. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page. It is I, Soto Sama the Fanatic, back at you with the Malefic deck profile. Name change is obvious for religious reasons, but this is the deck that was played by Paradox in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 3D Bonds Beyond Time. They finally released some of the cards for it. Andrew was super psyched about the Cubics getting their cards from Dark Side of Dimensions. These ones made it for me because I actually bought a whole bunch of the movie pack when the 3D movie came out and built the deck and actually had a lot of fun playing it back when skill drain was at 3. That's never going to happen again, is it? Anyways, let's get into the Malefic deck profile. So, for those of you who don't know what Malefics are basically a beatdown deck that, I was just going to get into the cards, but okay. Malefics are basically a beatdown deck that are corrupted versions of other monsters, such as this card, Malefic Stardust Dragon. They are all summoned by banishing the original copies of themselves from the deck, or in the case of Stardust Dragon, the extra deck, which makes it one of the best ones. And Malefic Stardust Dragons, you can only control one Malefic monster at a time, and other monsters that you control cannot declare an attack. A field spell also has to exist on the field for these things to exist on the field. So it's basically a beatdown deck which got hampered by the fact that you can only control one of them at a time. And of course, in the fucking movie, Paradox has multiples of them on the field at fucking once. So, Malefic Stardust Dragon. Banish Stardust, summon him, he's your field spell protector. Malefic Cyber End Dragon, the other good Malefic monster, arguably the best one. Stardust is the one that splashed in most decks, or was back in the day. Cyber End is basically the big beat stick, and my god, I wish he had the piercing effect like he did in the movie. But he'd probably have been broken if that were the case. So, summoned by banishing Cyber End from the extra deck. Simple enough. Malefic Rainbow Dragon is one rare exception, because you can only banish the original Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon. You can't banish Rainbow Dark Dragon or any of the other ones to summon him, but you can do it from your hand or deck. Why this is the only one that says hand or deck for the rest of them, I have no clue. But he's essentially just a giant 4,000 beat stick. And no, I do not run regular Rainbow Dragon. Never run regular Rainbow Dragon or regular Blue Eyes in a Malefic deck. Speaking of Blue Eyes, he's literally just there for synchro fodder, or if you want a 3,000 beat stick. But again, I must stress, with the new support that has come out, never run the originals of these. If you're running the originals of these, you're doing it wrong. Next, 3 Parallel Gear. This is your tuner for the deck to summon your big level 10 synchros with this. Level 12 if you want, but honestly, the only level 12 that's worth anything right now is the Math Mech Synchro, and I don't have it, and I don't think it's worth it. Because it's only 3,000 instead of 4,000. Don't care that it's unaffected by everything. So, Malefic Parallel Gear. This is correct. It is technically not an effect monster. This is not an effect. This is a condition. If they try to infinite impermanence or effect value you, you'd be like, okay, synchro summon from hand, it's a condition, not an effect. Skill drain's on the field, okay, synchro summon from hand, it's a condition, not an effect. You got that. It's a condition, not an effect. It is literally an effect that cannot be negated, ever. Unless they flip up, Dimensional Barrier and stop you from synchro summoning altogether. But that's beside the point. That's a completely different thing. Condition, not effect. Synchro from hand, make 10 beat stick. Next, the first of the new support cards that makes this deck work. This freaking card. Oh my god, this freaking card. Okay, so Paradox Gear, obviously a play on the fact that it was Paradox who played the deck in the movie. Ha 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 ha. It's a level 1 machine monster, and if there's a face-up field spell on the field, you contribute it, and then special summon a Parallel Gear, and then search any other Malefic monster from your deck to your hand. So this thing literally sets you up a level 10 synchro, as long as you have a field spell. Oh, and the reason you don't play the vanillas of the other monsters, if you're gonna just summon a Malefic monster, you can banish this instead of the card that's listed in its text. This card single-handedly makes the deck. If you have this, plus a field spell, plus another one of the new Malefic cards we'll get to in a moment, you have 8,000 plus damage on board. I'm not freaking joking. So yeah, Paradox Gear. Freaking phenomenal. And for hand traps, we run 3 Effect Veiler because it's Effect Veiler and my impermanences are in other decks. That's basically what it comes down to. And I mean, it's a tuner and it's a monster body if you want, because we do run 1-for-1 because level 1 monster. So argument can be made for infinite impermanence, but I'm running Effect Veiler because my impermanences are in other decks, and it's a monster for 1-for-1. So there we go. Next up, into the spells. 3 copies of a card that I like to call, Why the Hell Is This Still Legal? This card should have been banned ages ago. This card is so unfair. It's literally broken. Everyone hates playing against it. Why is it not just banned? OCG has it limited to 1. I argue that's not enough. It should have never been printed in the first place. For those of you who have been somehow living under a rock and don't know what the hell Mystic Mine is, let me let me show you how it's done. You see, I'm so mad I can't even speak straight. So, Mystic Mine is a little field spell card. If a player controls more monsters than the other player, that player cannot activate monster effects or attack. If it's on the field during the end phase and both players have the same number of monsters, it dies. The reason this card is stupid is that first effect. You literally play it, and if your opponent doesn't have a way to negate it, they're done. Literally, the main strategy of this deck, sit on this card until you get multiple 4K beat sticks and just kill them. This card needs to be banned. Do it next ban list. Everyone hates this card. 2 copies of Malefic World, because it's Malefic World and the territory card kind of requires you to play this card. It's kind of a crap card on its own, but during your draw phase, you can just reveal any 3 Malefic cards, and then your opponent chooses one of them to add to your hand instead of your normal draw. And then 2 Mound of the Bound Creator, because, as you may have noticed, most of these monsters are level 10. So, can't be targeted or destroyed. Oh, and when I destroy your monster, you take an additional 1,000 points of damage. Sounds fair, right? I mean, there's that other effect where you can search a Divine Beast monster, but there's no side deck for this, so, if we did, it would probably have Spheromone in it, but we don't have a side deck right now because there's no organized play right now. So, moving on. 3 copies of the other card that makes this deck so broken. Malefic Territory. This card single-handedly fixes the main problem that the deck had back in the day. Oh, the effect of Malefic monsters now becomes you can only control 1 Malefic monster with the same name. Just like in the picture, we've got Rainbow and End together on the field for the first time in forever. Oh, and then when you activate it, you can just activate a Malefic World directly from your deck, and then it can't be targeted or destroyed by any card effects while it's there. Or I think it's just targeted. Cards activated. Neither player can target the cards. Yeah, it's just target. Because you got Malefic Stardust to save the destruction effect. And it negates the effects of your Malefic monsters during the battle phase. That's basically so that way all of them can attack at the same time. Because if you remember, you can only attack with that particular monster if both of them are on the field. And next, this is a card from the movie that I was like, why the hell does this card not exist when the deck first came out? So, Malefic Selector is pretty simple. You banish 2 Malefic cards and search for up to 2 Malefic cards from your graveyard, and then you add 2 Malefic cards from your deck to your hand, except Malefic Selector with different names from the cards that you banished. Please note, you can banish 2 of the same Malefic monster and then search 2 different cards. It does not say 2 Malefic cards with different names. That stipulation is only on the cards that you search. You can only activate 1 per turn, and why are we running 3? Because Malefic World. You just look for this, it's like, okay, reveal 3 selector, draw it to my hand. 2 copies of Malefic Divide. This is Malefic Monster Reborn. The sad thing about this card is, even though it says ignoring the summoning conditions, apparently if you just send, let's say, I don't know, Malefic Blue Eyes to the graveyard, and then you have Malefic Divide in your hand, you cannot use it on the Blue Eyes because it was not properly special summoned. This is a Konami says so ruling. I hate those rulings. They have always been bullshit. 1 for 1, because we can only have 1 for 1. Konami, USA, Japan has 2. Why don't we? Do I have to explain this one? I think I already did. Paradox Gear, level 1 monster. Summon it out. Get your combos going. 1 terraforming, because we have, 7 field spells. 3 of them being a card that should be banned. And 3, finally, Begone, Demon Child! Also known as Called by the Grave. Because you don't want to get Ash Blossomed on either your selector or any of your other effects. And for the last 3 cards, we have 3 traps. And those traps are Metaverse, because again, 7 field spells. You want to have the field spell that you want at any given time, and it's best used with Mystic Mind, which again, should be banned. 1 Skill Drain, because this was the tech back in the day. You have a Floodgate. Oh, Cyber End Dragon, plus Skill Drain. Woo, 4,000 beater that can't be destroyed. And we hate back row, so red reboot. It's an OTK deck. You don't want to fall prey to traps. Next off, into the extra deck. You can make a couple of tweaks to this, but this is currently the way I'm running it right now. So first off, we have 3 Dark Art Cyber End Dragon. I'm working on getting the secrets, but I love this artwork. This artwork has always been really freaking cool. It's for Cyber End Dragon. 3 Stardust, running the dual power artwork for this one, because it's the only one I got right now. But yeah, banish this to summon Stardust. 2 Malefic Paradox Dragon. It normally requires Malefic World to be on the field in order to be on the field, but if you have Mound of the Bound Creator, it'll prevent itself from destroying itself. So there's a thing there, and this is really good against Synchro decks. 2 Dragocytos Corrupted Nethersoul Dragon. One of the reasons it took me so long to do this deck profile is because I was trying to get my hands on this card. Because this is easily the best thing that you go into, because you don't need a freaking field spell for this thing to survive. It's a 4K beater that can attack multiple monsters, and during the standby phase it can burn. Next up, one of my personal tech choices. That's right, I finally have the Time Lord Synchro. And it took me forever to realize this name was a goddamn pun. Time Lord Progenitor Vorpgate. It's literally Warpgate with a German accent. Ugh. But essentially, the way that this thing works is after it attacks, it banishes all of the opponent's monsters. During the end phase, they all come back. Here's the crux to that dilemma. If this thing leaves the field, the monsters don't come back. So if you overlay it with, I don't know, Gustav Max, then it's no longer on the field, so its effect can no longer trigger. Speaking of Gustav Max, you get any 2 level 10s together. Oh, I only got 6,000 damage on your monsters. Okay, overlay for Gustav Max, burn 2,000 per game. And if that's not enough, we can become 6,000 and attack 3 times. Now, if you're counting, you probably note that there's only 14 cards there. We only run 1 Link monster in this deck, and that is Link Karibo. You're probably wondering, why Link Karibo? Well, the answer is simple. You remember how I said Paradox Gear is a condition, not an effect? This unfortunately is an effect, so if they Valor it or Impermanence it upon summon, that's it, you're done. Or are you? Because, there's that graveyard effect, and it's a level 1 monster. So yeah, Link Karibo, the only Link monster that we run in the Malefic deck. It's all about big beaters, beat them to a pulp with your big ass guns. So yeah, that's the Malefic deck profile. Andrew and I actually had a duel with these decks. We actually wound up in a draw, because it turned out, because his big boss, Crimson Nova, I can't get over that because it's unaffected, and if he has stuff that stops damage, I can't kill him. And vice versa, if I have a 4K beater, he can't get over it unless he's got the right cards. So we wound up ending it in a draw. First duel literally ended in a draw because of Crimson Nova burning both of us for 3,000 at the same time. So that's the Malefic deck profile. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Stay safe. We'll catch you guys later.